The Syrian Air Force escalated its bombing campaign against the rebellion on Wednesday, activists reported, as the United States signaled growing impatience with the failure of the Syrian opposition in exile to form a cohesive leadership and said it would support the more robust and organized movement to oust President Bashar al-Assad. 2 days after a failed ceasefire in Syria, government forces carried out a string of air raids across the north of the country, as well as in the suburbs of Damascus, the Syrian capital, the activists said, asserting that the intensity and scope of the government's there. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Power had increased to unprecedented levels in the 20-month-old conflict. Their assertions coincided with news that Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton had proposed a newly revamped coalition of anti-Assad groups to supplant the Syrian National Council, the largely ineffective political opposition based outside the country that includes aging figures who have not been inside Syria for decades. She said the new coalition should include anti-Assad fighters but exclude the Islamist extremist elements that have joined the battle to topple Mr. Assad. Mrs. Clinton said the presence in Syria of the Islamist elements, some thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased, of which have been linked to Al-Qaeda, was part of what she called an opportunistic attempt to hijack a legitimate rebellion. There has to be representation of those who are on the front lines fighting and dying in Syria today to obtain their freedom, Mrs. Clinton told reporters during a trip to Croatia. And there needs to be an opposition leadership structure that is dedicated to representing and protecting all Syrians. Mrs. Clinton, who has played a prominent role in promoting the Syrian opposition with non-military aid, did not object to the participation. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Of the Syrian National Council in a newly organized anti-Assad coalition, which she hoped to advance at a meeting next week in Doha, Qatar. But Mrs. Clinton said this cannot be an opposition represented by people who have many good attributes, but in many instances have not been inside Syria for 20, 30 or 40 years. In Idlib province, in northern Syria, the air offensive intensified against the key crossroads of Marib al-No'ayman, which the rebels captured in early October and which the Syrian military has periodically pounded with bombs since then. Located in the middle of thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. The supply route between Syria's two biggest cities, Damascus and Aleppo, Marib al-No'ayman, is indispensable to the Syrian government. As the two sides wrestle to control it, activists warned that a humanitarian crisis was looming. Most residents of this area have been displaced, said Ahmed Kador, a spokesman for the rebels in the area. It's very cold, there is no heating and the most essential nutritional supplies have completely stopped. We can't even get bread. Given the random shelling, the ill-equipped first aid stations are struggling to treat wounded civilians, he said. There is thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. An alarming lack of medical staff, and these hospitals can't handle serious cases such as microsurgery, head injuries and amputations, he said, speaking via Skype. Also in the north, activists said the military dropped barrel bombs, old storage tanks or metal cylinders packed with explosives, from a helicopter, hitting a bakery in Atarab, west of Aleppo. I saw pieces of bodies flying in the air, said Abul Haytham, an activist who said he was close to the bakery when the attack took place. Many of the victims were taken to Turkey because the local hospital thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Could not handle them, he said. The bakery, the only one in town, served thousands of people, he said. Army units were staging raids on rebel hideouts in and around Aleppo, reported Sana, the official Syrian news agency, inflicting heavy losses in men and materiel. Around Damascus, warplanes attacked the eastern Ghouta district, an agricultural belt where fighters from the rebel-free Syrian army concentrate, said the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a rebel organization that tracks the conflict from Britain. Several videos posted by activists showed black thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Clouds of smoke billowing from the town of Sakb, after warplanes purportedly bombed residential neighborhoods and factories there. The videos could not be independently verified. Look at this. Arabs and the rest of the world, look at this shelling, which has been taking place for 10 days straight, a man could be heard yelling out of camera range. The Free Syrian Army, however, insisted that the government's ground forces